I will call the October 1st regular meeting of the Irmo Town Council to order and recognize Mayor Pro Tem Barry Walker to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, thank you for allowing us to assemble this afternoon in your eyes, and thank you for a great weekend where the town finally got together, had a wonderful gathering. Thank you for keeping the weather right, and thank you for not letting any violence happen to anybody. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Next item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes from September 17th. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
And any discussion? All in favor of the minutes as written being approved, do so with show of hands. Next item is the administrative briefing. Mr. Brown, is anything you'd like to add?
Yes, sir, only with the new park. Now that the rain days have been calculated in Mr. Elsie's contract, we're looking at 28 October for a new completion date, and it appears that he can make that date, the way things are moving out there. That's all I have.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions for Ms. Brown?
Yeah, I had a question about this. The Irmo electronic recycling event on November 16th
Mrs. Buck set that up. Keep the Midlands beautiful.
at Crossroads Middle School.
Like we did last year.
So that's not just an Irmo event, it's a everybody in the whole area event, right?
Correct.
Is there any way that we can publicize that through Irmo News or Channel 2 or something like that, or we can make a special extra effort to say this is an electronic recycling event as opposed to just general recycling?
We can put it on the website and Channel 2, and I'm sure we could maybe get a discount with the new Irmo News.
I'm sure Ms. Buck will
We got
publicize
lists
it
there
too.
too, don't we?
I don't know, I was just wondering.
Well, Facebook would go on Facebook also, our Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook?
We can do that.
Do you have the hours?
I'm sorry?
Do you
Whenever we have the
the
hours.
How long lasts?
I did not have anything yet. She hasn't sent me a flyer because it's down the road a ways. I will get you a copy when I get it.
We got it on November 16th, right? I mean, I like to, but I like for us to spend a little extra advertising on this one. At least let people know that it's electronic recycling, not just general recycling. Okay.
Yeah, because last year it was real successful. I mean, they filled up a semi-truck.
Okay.
That's good.
Thanks.
Okay.
Anything else? Next item is receipt of communications. The first item we have is Mr. Luther with the Oversight Commission.
Thank you, Mayor. We've chosen a date for the 2014 Oversight Commission appointments. October 21st, 6:15, here in the municipal building. We'd like for you to preside over that, if you would, please.
And what day is it? Do you know it offhand?
That's on Monday.
October the
21st.
21st.
6:15.
6:15.
And that's getting your committee set up and getting a chairman appointed, right?
That's, yeah,
Okay.
the annual appointments, I guess. I'm trying to do it before November 15th, so we're on the right page.
What happens on November 15th?
Well,
Did you like our
ordinance-
party this past weekend? You all did a great job.
I just enjoyed it.
Our ordinance just says it has to be done
Our
before
ordinance
November
requires it.
15th. The I guess their term ends maybe the 1st of November, I don't know.
I don't know, it's in the
But it says by the
requirements.
November 15th.
It is, and we've already canceled our first meeting in November, because it was going to be an election day. So
Oh.
we don't have that meeting, that's why we're doing this now.
Okay, good.
There seem to be crowds and crowds of people, more than I've ever seen,
Me too.
more than the past 10 or 12 years anyway.
Yeah, me too. I think everything that y'all helped do paid off. I mean, as far as the advertising and clearing the way for some of the other things.
We had folks here from all over, from Hilton Head, from Greenville, Spartanburg area, Savannah, Georgia.
Because it was in Southern Living.
It was in Southern Living. It was on the Food Network.
Food Network?
Food Network, one of them had the wrong band headline. It had Little River Band headline. Was it Southern Living or
Food Network.
Food Network? Okay.
And so they ran it again with the correct one.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Susan contacted them and they immediately, because they were going to run it twice on 2 issues, and they made a correction on the second one.
Super. I didn't know that. I was too busy this weekend. I want to thank Whit and his crew for all the hard work they did. They saved my back, my knees.
We couldn't do it without him.
Yeah. Couldn't do it without him. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
We in the black? Are we in the black?
We should know within just a few days.
I know nothing.
Next item is item B. Mr. Horn from Advanced Disposal was going to speak to us and kind of just let us know about what they offer on electronic recycling, and also just kind of
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about the recycling now, because I know we're still getting calls about that, and how y'all are going to resolve that and correct that and fix that.
Okay. Well, first off, Advanced Disposal itself does not offer an e-recycling program
Okay.
in and of itself. Anytime we do one of those events, we have to subcontract it out. Unfortunately, we haven't had a need in the Columbia marketplace to do an e-recycling event up till now. I will tell you, after Mr. Bob called me the other day regarding this, I did get in contact with Dave Edgar with Lexington County. They're going to do a e-recycling event in January over here, and he would like to coordinate that with you all, and it will be free of charge. We won't be in charge. Of course, anything we would do, we'd have to bring in a vendor, and there would be some cost incurred. What that would be, I don't know. I couldn't tell you at this point. I could check with some of our other areas that we service to see what those fees would be to do that if you want to entertain it. But I think your best option would probably be to look at Lexington County's e-recycling offer first before I make that call. As you all know, I came to you 2 months ago and let you know about some service hiccups we were having because of some route changes. We're over the bulk of that. We have pretty much smoothed out all of our services for all of Lexington County, including the town of Irmo. Another thing that, when I went back and looked, we performed 45,500 services for the town of Irmo in a month's period. That's 45,500 services. Based on the calls that we've had come in, complaints and so forth, I think it was 384 requests for services that were usually handled within 24 hours or less over the past month. And I think it equates out to 0.008% on overall services is what you had for missed services, or services that were not done appropriately. Less than, what's that, 1/100th of a percent. So,
Can you repeat that again? How many services you?
45,500 services we perform on a monthly basis in the town of Irmo.
A monthly, okay. Okay, that adds.
That's all the services we provide. And the call rate, the calls that we've got in, according to what my figures were, now there may be something different somewhere else, but I've got 384
Is that once a week?
requests for services.
4 weeks, once a week.
4 weeks with 3 different
For a month.
services. You got recycling and yard and house.
Recycling, yard trash, and household.
So, as you can see that, now the previous month, I don't want to go into that because that was probably a little higher. But this month, it looks like we've knocked that down tremendously. So, I'm open for any questions. I was just wanting to give you an update. I was asked to come in and explain the e-recycling portion of it and give you an update on services and maybe address how we handle calls that come in, if that was what you all wanted to hear tonight.
Yeah, that was, oh, go ahead.
Well, I had a question. My father received a notice about the cans have to be real close to the road because of the crane has to reach it, and there's really no place to put it.
We'll work with, I mean, they'll do their best to get it wherever they place it, but usually we try to do it within 3 feet of the right-of-way, of the road, because that arm actually reaches out, grabs that can, takes it over and dumps it, and has to be away from any stationary object, so it doesn't, those hooks that grab the can won't hit whatever's around it.
And the broken cans, you are replacing those?
Yes, sir. Okay. All we do. And the way we handle that is, if they're called into town hall, Ms. Vi, she sends us a list every week or every day, if need be, of replacements that need to be done, as well as missed services, and then we respond based on what she emails us.
Now, one more thing is that schedule of the recycling. I know you said we ride to a neighborhood and see the green cans, but when is it? I mean, is there a schedule out there somewhere?
It's every other week starting whenever.
When?
Yeah.
And
started
I'm not sure what this
2
week
months
is.
ago.
I run through 5 different states, so I can't keep up with everybody.
It was last Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
But, I mean,
Recycling.
what we can do is
Yeah, we did.
publicize it through the TV channel or in the newspaper, if that would help.
I know I had to ask you, I think when you were here a couple of months ago, if it'd be possible to get like that magnet or some kind of
I'm working on
printed
that.
thing. That was always helpful to have that week block.
I've got one being printed right now over in Pine Ridge, so I've been looking at getting y'all's done as well when this one gets done.
Being
Yeah, we have an aging population, most of them up here.
you mentioned Pine Ridge, I know that you provide your services all around the greater Irmo area. As you hear of recycling, e-recycling going on, like you did with Lexington, could you keep us informed of that? Because in between what we do, we might like to let our folks know that Pine Ridge, for example, and I mentioned them because you just did, that they have something going, and that would be something that our folks might wish to take advantage of rather than waiting several months until we did another one. And likewise, we would like to offer it to Pine Ridge as well.
Okay. I know Richland County does one every fall, which is probably about time for theirs. They do that out at the Sand Hills once a year or twice a year, I think. There's any recycling event, and we have good success out there with them.
What's the, can you help me understand what the cost is involved with e-recycling as opposed to just regular recycling of cans? I mean, why would somebody incur a cost? I thought you take those electronic, this is my only understanding, you take these electronic equipment, old electronic equipment, you strip it down, you take the precious metals out of it, any hazardous materials you send another direction, but you actually take the precious metals out and turn it in for money. not me, but the recycler does.
Right.
So why would there be any cost involved?
For the town, if the town requested it from an e-recycler, they probably wouldn't. When Advanced Disposal steps up to the plate and says, hey, we want you to do this for us, there's going to be a cost.
I mean, why would they do that? What is it?
Labor.
Labor, getting trucks here, fuel, equipment. I don't know whether they farm that out or how they go about getting those precious metals out of that equipment. I'm sure there's e-recyclers out there that would do it for nothing.
Yeah, because he's getting raw materials for nothing, I thought. Yeah.
But for us, if we were to ask a company to step in and come from wherever, we're going to have to pick up some costs.
Do you know of any e-recyclers in this area? I mean,
That's what
the
I'm
one.
just saying. I'm not familiar with any in this area.
Well, the one we get from Keep the Midlands Beautiful comes out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
And they will only come once a year to a certain location because it costs them money.
The town of Batesburg wanted me to do e-recycling for them. It's been less than a year ago, and I contacted a company out of North Carolina to come down. We had a 45-foot, 45-yard container that had TVs and all that kind of stuff in it. If the TVs are broken, they wouldn't take them. If any of that equipment was damaged in any way, as far as sides busted out, tubes busted, they wouldn't pick them up. And they wanted it palletized and put on and shrink wrapped before they pick it up. So, needless to say, we didn't do that one, but I think Lexington took it and was able to get somebody to take care of it.
A couple of things I wanted to ask or mention and make sure I understand. I know a couple of weeks ago, and y'all corrected it, but I think Church Street was one of the streets that didn't get picked up at all in 2 weeks. St. Albans, somebody called me, I want to say last week, it might have been last week, from St. Albans, which was over in Fox Run, and that whole cul sack had been picked up. A couple of their neighbors had made the comment they were going to quit recycling and just throw it all in the trash because that gets picked up. That was kind of what, because that's one of my concerns is that people will, and I know I've called you a couple of times, I know Bob has, and I know when I call, it gets picked up. But somewhere between when the calls come into the town and Vi sends them to y'all, those don't seem like they're automatically getting picked up within that next couple of days. And that's the thing, I don't know if there's a disconnect somewhere in there that we can work on to make sure that, you know, the 1 point whatever percent is good. But at the same time, I've had somebody say, hey, it's simple. You put the can out in the road, they pick it up. We pick it up, put it beside our house, and we're on. And I know there's been some troubles from the switchover, but I think too some people are starting to get a little bit kind of like, well, this ain't working, we're just going to stop recycling. At least we know they pick up the other thing. So I want to make sure y'all kind of get that grid too. So
that should not be the case. I'm not saying that it's not, but it should. Once those come into us, we have a team who responds immediately to those. It comes in our customer service department and it's immediately dispatched out to our supervisors who ensure that that gets taken care of. If there was a drop in the ball on those particular streets, I can look into that to find out why. But normally it's handled within a 24-hour or less period. And if we still got a truck out here, we're picking it up that afternoon once we call them. But as in any other service industry, occasionally you're going to have a mess up.
Yeah.
That happens. But as soon as we're made aware of it, at least our team is trained to respond immediately as soon as they get it in.
because I think most people have the regular household and the yard trash, I think they're all kind of, everything's working out, but they still kind of ask, well, why isn't this part doing the same as that? And I'm like, I don't know.
Let me tell you a little, where there's a little bit of difference in recycling. Recycling in the past month, and I told you all the last time I was here, we packed out our recycling truck every time we worked Irmo since we put those 65-gallon cans out there, which is a good thing. And we're quite proud of that, and we like to talk that, you know, that other cities could be doing the same thing. what happens is when you pack a truck out, you're getting towards the end of the day, you've got to go dump that truck, and you come back and maybe the driver forgot that he missed this particular street. He's picking up somewhere else and trying to finish that ride out. So that could be part of the problem as well. It happens that way as well. But yeah, here in Irmo, we have had a tremendous success with recycling. So
Yeah, I think it has
be
been.
proud of that.
I see a lot of cans out there now, too.
Well, Ms.
People
Buck
are
is
using it.
telepathic because she's just informed us that the November 16th e-recycling will be from 9 to 12.
Good.
Okay.
Yes,
If you
thank
all
you.
have any questions, or if you all need something handled, you've got my numbers, give me a call anytime. I'm more than happy to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Even if I'm in Kentucky or wherever I was at.
Next item on the agenda is presentation by citizens for agenda items only. This is the time where if you'd like to speak to council about anything on the agenda, which is some sidewalks and salary raises, this would be the time to do so. Anything else, you can speak to us at the end of the meeting. Is there anything or anyone who'd like to address council on the agenda items tonight? Seeing none, we have no unfinished business, so next item under new business is item A, approval to council a South Carolina Department of Transportation sidewalk project, or projects, excuse me. One is on Mosley Carlisle and the other one is on Brickland. And then we're going to apply for LPA status. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
And I'll kind of do what we said before. I'll recognize Councilman Hoots first, and then Kathy, and then we can kind of go from there.
Well, I'm going to defer, being it was put on the agenda by staff, I'm going to defer to staff to explain that. Staff couldn't make the motion or second it, so we wanted to get it on the floor so we could get an explanation.
That'd be fine.
Yes, sir. This is a two-part problem that we're having, and it just came to light a couple weeks ago. We've been dealing with DOT now for about 6 years since they started this LPA program, and the problem that just arose was that we get estimates from engineers, and then it's 3 or 4 years before they actually get around to bidding the project out, and then you wonder why you're $50,000 to $100,000 off in your estimate. And that's because prices fluctuate, things change, DOT don't move too fast on this. And so we are in a position now that if we cancel those two projects because they are outside of the 20% range that was estimated, we would get our money back, other than the survey cost, which ranged between $3,000 and $5,000. So we get our match back. We still have the grants coming from through Central Midlands and DOT. But we can't just go out and do the project by ourselves. You know, we can become LPA certified, but I'll let Mr. Dennis explain it, but the problem is it is a long process. It takes a couple months to get approved. You got a lot of paperwork. You need an engineer that is qualified and can fill it out and works with DOT all the time. And this is a situation where Dennis Corporation is one of those firms that has a lot of dealings with DOT, and they do work with the LPA program a lot. And what this would do is allow us to probably save money and get projects done in about 6 months to 8 months as opposed to 3 or 4 years.
And what does LPA stand for?
The local project administration or administrator.
Sorry, local
Program. Okay, there you go.
And we're the ones getting the LPA certified. You say the town, is that what I'm...
The town would have, yes, we would be the ones on the documentation signing it, but we don't have the expertise or the qualified personnel to fill it out.
Okay.
And that's what the problem is.
And that's filling out for the certification, not for each individual project.
Well, no, if I'm not mistaken, Dan, we would have to do it for each project, but after the first one, it gets a lot easier because they've already recognized us as being
They've
capable.
actually allowed now municipalities to start bundling projects. So you can put 4 or 5 sidewalks into one project. one LPA package.
Yeah, I think they finally realized that they bit off more than they could chew, and they're way in over their head because projects are coming in from all over the state, and that's why it takes so long. So if we want to move forward on sidewalk projects that we have funding for, I just think this is probably the better way to go. And I don't know if I put it in my briefing, DOT charges a flat rate of 30%, and Mr. Dennis says that he could be lower than that. So it's something to look into if council wants to cancel those projects and move forward with trying to get certified.
And what we can do is let Harvey, I guess, go with any question or comment, and Kathy, and then if we need to get Mr. Dennis.
Well, I was, after reading your information to us, I'm totally in favor of, you know, shortening the time span, and knowing Mr. Dennis, I know he can go low when he wants to. So I can see the savings to the town, both in dollars and in time.
I agree.
All right, I have a question. Now, Bob, for example, Carlisle and Mosley Street, for that project, what will the cost possibly be in the time frame to get that done?
I don't know. I mean, it was off $100,000, you know, based on DOT. Now, DOT, I'm sure a lot of it has to do when they send their engineers out, they over-engineer a lot of stuff. And I'm sure that a lot of times, I'm guessing that they probably do things at a much higher standard than is required at a minimum standard. I mean, you still have a standard, but they're going to over-engineer stuff, and that the cost goes up. I know it's a lot of drainage work is involved with that because of the corner and right there at Mosley and Carlisle. Plus, they have to work on getting the curb and the gutter and the sidewalk all the way down to the parking lot around the what used to be Direct Furniture. So they have to determine that. They have to get right away, and then they have to go around the corner and connect the Woodrow Street.
So it would be less than what the quote, the $101,000. It could be much less, correct?
Could be a little less. I'm not going to say it's much less. I mean, I don't know.
But it could be much quicker.
It'd be much quicker. It will be lower because the engineering cost is going to be, you know, at least 10% less, I would guess. So you already reduced that. And until you bid it out, you really don't know. I mean, even DOT's estimation of this thing, you know, being $100,000 underestimated is conjecture on their part. Until you get a contractor to say, this is what I'm going to charge you to do this project, you don't really know. Could be off by 30,000, 50,000, 150. It shouldn't be that far. I mean, we should be able to ballpark it, you know, if we get the surveys done and a lot of engineering work done up front.
Okay.
You know, but our estimates that we get when we do grants, they're just, you know, the engineers will go out there, they'll mark it off, they'll measure it, you know, get some rough ideas of this is what you want to do. They'll sit down, look at their quantities list, but they're not designing it at that time. So there's a lot of things that could pop up, and when DOT sat down and they designed it, they incurred more costs.
I see.
You know,
So this is the right way to go.
well, no, this is the quicker way to do it, and it's the right way because we'll have an engineering firm that's our consultant.
All right.
So we don't have to go through all the DOT bureaucracy.
Gotcha.
You know, we'll be able to pick up the phone and call them and say, we need to fix this or change that, or, you know, try to reduce the cost on certain aspects of it.
All right.
And see if I'm understanding, we decide we're going to do a sidewalk, and then we vote on it here, and then we get pricing, and then we say, okay, that sounds good, turn it in, and it comes back from DOT, and normally it was within a certain closeness. If I'm looking at these corrected, or these figures here, this is from 2011 memo, and then this is the administrative briefing, and it basically says Mosley Carlisle was 98,000, but according to our thing here, it was 101 underfunded. So it was really 200-some thousand is what they finally came back.
That's what they're saying.
Now, the ones that aren't under 20% off or whatever, we have to stick to those. We
Well,
can't
Yes.
We counsel them, we lose our money.
Correct.
We lose our...
Correct.
Right. So if we don't counsel them, then they'll continue working with these. One of the benefits of this one too, if I'm understanding, is once we do this LPA thing, then in the future, we don't necessarily always have to go through DOT. Is that
Yes,
correct?
we'll always have to go through.
I mean, but we don't have to let them engineer, do all that. We can get, say,
Correct.
Dennis or somebody to do
Once
that.
they've seen that we
Which
can
will
do
speed
a
the
couple
process.
projects, I'm sure that it's a trial and error, right? Once they see, and we prove that we can do it, we can keep the cost down, and we can do their standards, then they'll be more agreeable in the future to let us just move on and do it ourselves.
Kind of like what we were doing before.
Oh, yeah.
Kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
that same, which was quick. and
Much
was getting
quicker.
done. Okay. Anybody else have any? All in favor then of canceling these contracts, Mosley, Carlisle, and Brickling, and then applying for LPA status, do so with show of hands. All opposed? Next item is first reading of ordinance 1311 to increase council's annual salary by $3,000 to become effective January 1st, 2014. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
And Councilman Hoots, I'll recognize you first if you...
Well, I've been on the council for 20 plus years, and there has never been any increase.
How many, Harvey? 20?
I was elected in September, actually October the 1st, in 1990. So that's
A long time.
a long time. And the salary was the same then as it is today. And I think it's long overdue.
So October 1st, 1990,
1990.
and
That's 23 years
23 years.
today.
so 300, what was it, we get $300 a month?
350.
And in 1990, money, that was a good salary, wasn't it?
Better than now.
$300. You gotta have a steak once in a while.
Any other comment?
Not for me.
I have one. I was not totally in favor of the amount until Bob sent us the comparisons with other councils, and that was very helpful. I just didn't know. I mean, you've sent us that information before, but if you think I'm going to remember it from year to year, no. But I think it's realistic, the figure is realistic compared to what other communities this size pay. Anyway,
Can I make this comment too? For somebody who had been city attorney 12 years when Harvey was elected, I remember the discussions we had when we set the salaries at that number. And we set the salaries at that number because at that time it was consistent with what other towns in the Midlands were paying at the time. Obviously, in what's that, probably 23 years, the other towns have just seen fit to give increases, and we have done none. So, if you're going to remain consistent, there'd be nothing wrong with being in line with what the other municipalities are paying.
thank you, Jay.
That just, I do remember that we were very, I remember that was a discussion, and it was set. We actually had a study done, as I recall. I could be wrong, but I think we had a study done to determine what the other cities were doing, and we set it in line.
Now, this list, oh, may I make a comment? This list, how many of these other municipalities have a mill? How many mills? Millage do they have?
I didn't check, but I guess maybe all of them.
They all
I mean,
do.
there aren't too many that don't have millage like
We have no millage.
We have none. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but I'm guessing they all have millage.
Yeah, I think Blythewood is one of the only towns offhand that does it, and I think,
There's 6 mills, I think.
oh, they are now? Okay. And I was thinking there was one other one, but I can't remember now offhand who it was. I'm going to try to look at that list, but I can't find it. I don't know where it is.
So it was
On my
23
iPad
years
somewhere.
ago that it started, is that right?
Could have been more than that.
I
before
believe,
that.
if I recall, when I became city attorney in '78, I believe the salary was $50 a month for the councilman and $100 for the mayor. I believe is what it was. And it remained that way for a significant period of time. And then there was a discussion amongst council that that wasn't a whole lot of money. And we asked for a study to be done. I believe that study came back, and that we basically set our salaries at the lower end of the average, where it has remained apparently for 23 years.
Yeah. I remember the date specifically because I had served on the Zoning Board of Adjustments for some time, and there was no compensation, and I didn't, when I ran for office, I didn't realize that there was a compensation of any means. I was upset because our millage had gone from about 7 mills to 47.9 mills. And that upset me, and that caused me to run. And I was sworn into office after my first election on October the 1st, which was my mother's 80th birthday. And she was in the audience to see that and died shortly thereafter. So I remember the date specifically.
Thank you, Mark.
The only comment I wanted to state or ask, I know we did a salary a couple of years ago too, the Archers, whatever it was. And we discussed, I think during budget workshops, raising the council salary, which we didn't. We also even had it on our agenda earlier this year, and I think you had submitted, what was it, 1,800 a
That was
year
the
or something
proposal
like
then,
that?
yes, 1,800 per.
And we didn't. You know, I'll be the first one too, and if it had got a first and a second back in March or April, whenever it was, to say that if it hadn't been raised in that many years, it was probably time to do it. For the same reason that whatever was $350 a month in 23 years ago probably isn't the same as $350 a month in the 2000s. The only thing I'm not real pleased with or happy about is we had an opportunity in March, April, May, whenever it was, to do it and then put it into our budget, which we didn't. We can do a budget amendment now and do that, and I don't think the money is, break a bank type thing. I just feel like we should have either done it then or either wait until July 1st for it to go into effect, when the budget goes into effect. That would be my ruthers, I guess, would be to do it that way. If somebody wants to make a motion for that, I will second it. If they don't, then I won't need to make one anyway if they're not going to. But I would say that would be another alternative. Instead of January the 1st, is doing it July the 1st. And then it would be kind of into that budget without doing a budget amendment.
I have a question with that comment you made. Bob, the Richland County tax that we're receiving from Richland County businesses.
Local option sales tax.
Yeah, what's that amount? Because it was back in April, when we were just talking about this, it was maybe 44,000, I want to say. What is it now?
About $1 million that comes from the local option sales tax.
It's, no, it's about 240,000, I think, because we got a whole bunch more in the last budget that we didn't foresee coming in, and our business licenses went up by about 150,000, which is why we had a $400,000 surplus.
I see. So,
But that's where that came from, and it just jumped up there. And everybody started shopping, I guess,
it jumped up there when? What month?
early in the year.
Early in the year, okay.
Yeah, it was kind of I won't say calculated into our new budget, but I think it was kind of figured in.
Well, it wasn't that high because we didn't know it was going to be that high until.
Yeah, I
our
remember the
budget
budget talks that
Right.
we were very close, kind of a break-even thing. And I remember I asked the question, you know, it's an educated guess, but are we going to get more?
Right.
And the educated guess was yes, but we didn't vote for it at that time because basically the money wasn't on the table. Don't count the money before it comes in.
We didn't know the recession was over. I wasn't convinced it was until,
Are you convinced now?
well, I have doubts again now, but after the business license picked up, I thought,
Right.
we're doing better.
But, you know, we kind of do the same thing with police cars. We try to budget police cars, but we don't go out and buy them until we have to have them and the money's there. The one thing that Irmo can say and be proud of is that we have no millage for Irmo taxes and we don't owe anybody any money. So we don't go out and borrow money to buy police cars, borrow money and spend it when we don't have it. And that's the situation we were in then when we looked at it. And if we were that way today, I would be opposed.
I would too.
But that's just right.
Any other comment? All in favor of the of increase in the council's salary by $3,000 a year? I wouldn't say a month.
And that would be steep, Mr. Mayor. It could be discussed if you would like to do that.
Well, someone in my family thought it was a $3,000 a month increase. They were kind of happy until I told them no. Anyway, by an annual salary of $3,000 to become effective January 1st, 2014. Do so with show of hands. And next item
We
is...
need to set up a date. We have to have it set up now for a special meeting and a public hearing.
Well, our next meeting is when? October
15th?
15th.
October 15th.
So it needs to be the 22nd or the 29th of October.
Needs to be when? Tell me again, Kim.
A public hearing and the third reading needs to be held either the October 22nd or the 29th.
Because we're
What's the
meeting the
29th?
first
Is
of
that
the
two
two
weeks?
They're both Tuesdays.
Oh, okay.
They're both Tuesdays.
I would say the 29th since that's, well,
29th would be
is
fine.
that,
That's
when's
fine.
Halloween?
31st.
Okay.
It's Thursday of that week.
Okay.
I would say the 29th. That keeps each meeting,
So you're going to have the
2
public
weeks
hearing on the
apart.
third meeting, 29th.
We'll have to have the public hearing. We got to post it now and then want that meeting earlier, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:30.
That's
I don't care.
6:30.
Whatever you say.
That'd be the only thing on the agenda, so.
Now, the only thing I'll ask too, should we do the public hearing on the 15th since that's a regular meeting?
No,
We
because
can't have it.
that's why we have to have the special meeting, because public
Oh, okay.
hearing has to be 15 days out.
15th, okay.
Wouldn't get it posted till
Okay.
a couple days.
So, be October 29th, 6:30, and a public hearing
Okay.
at 6:30 or 6, or just 6:30?
Makes a difference to me.
You gonna bring the cobbler? Okay.
All right, next item.
What
Oh,
time?
6:30.
6:30.
October 29th.
And Barry promised to bring the cobbler.
Thank you.
And next item is presentation by citizens. This is where anyone can speak to us about anything, whether it's on the agenda or not. They do so at this time. Anyone? Oh, already got one.
This is Jake Moore, 335 Winter Point in Columbia. I just wanted to, first of all, I'd like to recognize that the three of the Irmo Arbor Day sponsors are here with us tonight. Barry Walker is one of our sponsors. We have our garbage service as a sponsor, and our engineer is all are helping to sponsor the Arbor Day Golf Tournament. And we very much appreciate Dennis Engineering and Advanced Disposal have been regular sponsors of our tournament. and I simply wanted to point out that we greatly appreciate it. The golf tournament is Friday, and we'll be getting people showing up around 8:30. This is going to be probably the best golf tournament we've ever seen. We have 12 holes where we have either restaurants or other businesses participating in giveaway programs, food, drink, gifts, prizes. The GMC, Love GMC is doing a giveaway of a car for a hole-in-one. They have 3 other holes where they're giving away prizes for holes-in-one. We have Lake Murray Country, who we hope to do some work with maybe some fishing tournaments or that sort of thing in the near future, is going to be there. The park's going to be there. The zoo is going to be there. Keep the Midlands Beautiful is going to be there. We have a number of people coming who are involved heavily in our community who are going to show up. This is I know that the Arbor Day Committee is separate from the town of Irmo, but it is the Irmo Arbor Day Committee. We so far have decided to keep all of our expenditures inside the corporate limits of the town of Irmo. We would love to have any of you who can come, shake hands, be with us, eat some peach cobbler, eat a Sonic burger for breakfast, drink some orange juice, drink some Matthias coffee. The number of vendors and people from this community who are giving and showing up and helping is absolutely humbling. As an aside, we have paid for the gift. We already have $83,000 in the bank. We would expect to end the year somewhere closer to 90. We have some big plans for the next year with our projects. Look for us in the next 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe a month, at the CVS site and across the street from CVS. We're going to spend $6,000 on that corner by itself. But the purpose of me coming this morning or this evening is to ask you that every year when we're down there, people are looking for town officials, asking, where's so-and-so, where's so-and-so. They look for you, and they love to see you there. Just an open invitation. Please come if you can. Mr. Brown, we'd love to have you for 30 minutes just to shake some hands if you can come down there. I think Whit's going to be there. I think Paul's on the committee, and I think he's getting ice and putting out whole sponsorship signs and so forth. But again, please come and join us if you can.
What time?
We will get there. I'll be there about 8 o'clock. We'll have somebody there as early as 7:30. The golfers tee off at 9. They'll probably start arriving about 8:30. Come and be with us from 8:30 to about 9:15, and then you can go. Love to have you come back and have lunch with us. We're featuring the Chef Fatback's famous peach cobbler for dessert. We have Jersey Mike's is giving us some food. Matthias is giving us some food for lunch. The restaurants on the course are going to be Aladea's, Catch-22, Ava D's, and Moe's. Wild Hair is sponsoring a bar on one of the holes with Bloody Marys and whatever. It's going to be quite a production. It's going to be the nicest golf tournament we've ever put on. The financial support this year has been beyond anything I have ever seen. And I am pleased to report to you that we hope to have some money we can spend inside of town this year. But we're also planning, I'm taking more time than I should, we're also planning to do not only phase 2, but phase 3 at H.E. Corey Elementary this year. That should finish all of the work at H.E. Corey. We're planning a big Arbor Day party the first Friday in December for the children of H.E. Corey. We would like to pencil that on the calendar as if it comes out to be what we think it's going to be. It will be a very nice celebration of the children in town. But, you know, just if you can come, there's going to be an awful lot of people there, it looks like. And we'd love to see your face and have you come join us and eat a biscuit with us.
Is it gonna be at Rawls Creek?
Rawls Creek, AKA Cold Stream. Same place as usual. We want to try to support our local golf course, and this is the way we do that. They've been awful nice to us over the years, and we've been nice to them. And it's just, it ought to be fun.
And that's October 4th, this Friday.
This
October
Friday,
4th, Rock Creek at 8:30.
The weather report says 85 degrees and sunny. Don't get much better than that. You know, when you look around the farmer's market and the new park and the Okerstruck success, and then follow back up with what should be a successful golf tournament, a lot of nice things going on. And thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is David Charneski from 306 Shillingford Road. Just a little update from 2 weeks ago on the property. I came in 2 weeks ago, requested if we can get some help with the property that's behind me, that's overgrown and everything. And I wanted to thank you very much for all the people that helped me with the project. Hardy, thank you for his support. Whit, thank you very much for sending Mr. Bob Brown, landscape people, out to my place. Tore everything down. Looks great. We've been out there for the past couple weekends cleaning that property up. I want to thank my new friend, Jake Moore. He's been awesome. He's been out to the property several times, taking a look and giving his ideas and his inspirations. He inspired me big time to jump on this, and I think him with the arbor thing got me. But his enthusiasm, his love for the town of Irmo, everything, I enjoy working with him. And Paul Younger, thank you for coming by and checking out the property. They came out yesterday and coming up with ideas on some stuff that we could possibly do to fix it. My wife and kids, that we all cleaned that whole ditch out, cleaned that property up. You can cancel we want to take care of that backyard. So if you want, we can cancel the. He can do Mr. Brown can do the front yard. We'll take care of the backyard and the ditch to hopefully something I feel really good that something's going to positively happen that'll fix everything. And we're excited about it. Jake's excited about it. I do ask, I don't know, gentlemen, we do have a whole bunch of stuff out front of the house. Probably about 15, 20 big bags that we bag stuff up. We've got, we cut everything up, 3 foot and less. We've done everything we can do, but we piled it along the front of the house. So it's hoping that we can get, then they only take 4 foot by 4 foot sections. I was hoping maybe we can do an extra pull on that one. If not, then it is what it is.
You mean what that address is? The house?
406 Charing Cross.
Charing Cross Road, yeah.
Okay.
When you go home, you'll see the pile of stuff.
There's a guy right behind you to talk to.
He just wrote the
He's
post out.
writing it down there.
Okay. Man, it's great. I really do appreciate it. I want to make sure I got it. Mike Covington, DOT, came by. We're going to call him tomorrow. He was pretty positive about it when he came by. Talked to Mr. Moore. I can't say enough. I appreciate it. I'm sure the families around us appreciate it, and it looks amazing right now. I came home from work today, and I'll be honest with you, it'll probably sell the property. I mean, it looks really, really good. So thanks for everybody and all their support and everything. And I'll come back in a couple weeks if there's any big changes or any changes, and keep you up to date on what's going on. But excellent job on the orchestra. I worked the orchestra. I was at the orchestra. My family had a good time, and we appreciate that as well. Is next year we're going to have it at the new park? Is that the plan? So that's going to be awesome. So again, thank you very much for everybody's help.
Did you abandon those chickens over there?
Let's forget about it.
Just ask.
He ate them.
You ate them?
Let's forget about it.
All right. You didn't invite me over for
Thank
dinner.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the
Coming
good
back.
Chicken. Anyone else who would like to address council? See none. I think we do have an executive session
Contractual.
on a contractual matter. So is there a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to take up a contractual matter with our town attorney.
In a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We will go into executive session. We will not take any votes or adjourn. We'll come back out and adjourn. And we'll be back. So no votes were taken.
I don't want to go through a lot of trouble.
So, next item on the agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
You're welcome. All in favor?
I have to get
We're
home.
adjourned.